Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real honor to be here on MOSIP Connect. My name is Oleksandr Iefremov. I'm CEO of KitSoft, and I want to speak about something very practical today. Not digital identity alone, but how digital identity actually becomes used, how it becomes adopted, how it becomes part of citizens' daily life. Because digital ID by itself doesn't transform a country. Services do. And services built fast, securely, and at scale, that's what drives ID adoption. The core question is that many governments successfully implemented MOSIP and other digital ID systems, but then comes the harder question: how to connect it to real public services, how to launch new services quickly, how avoid expensive, slow, and custom development of each new service, how to scale and securely update the platforms, and how to build local capacity for all of this. There is where low-code platforms like Liquio comes in. Liquio is a low-code platform designed specifically for public sector digital services. And today I'll show you how combining MOSIP with a low-code platform accelerates national digital transformation. What Liquio brings? Liquio is open source platform. It is low code. Also, it is AI driven, both for citizens and for developers. It is proven at national scale. It is handling up to 10,000 requests per second. And an average time to market for a new digital service is 1.5 months. And what is important, it's already used by 23 million of people. And most importantly, it was built for governmental complexity, not for startups, not for private e-commerce, but for governments. Let me share a real case. Ukraine moved from 102nd place to 5th place globally in Digital Public Service Maturity Index. In the GovTech Maturity Index, Ukraine became one of the global leaders. The digital platform DIA was recognized as one of the biggest world inventions. Today, DIA provides digital document for all citizens, business registration, governmental permits, social benefits for citizens, unemployment support, and many, many other, more than 200 of public services created based on once only principle, with very good user experience. And this was achieved during the war. The lessons is not about Ukraine. The lessons is this: the digital leadership is about building an ecosystem of services really fast. So why digital ID adoption depends on services? Because obviously citizens don't wake up wanting digital ID. They wake up wanting to register a business, to receive social benefit, to start new activities for their businesses, to send their children in schools and kindergarten, to improve their lives with governmental support, and all of these tasks. And digital ID becomes valuable only when it unlocks something useful. So if service rollout is slow, digital ID adoption is slow. If services are fragmented, then adoption is fragmented. If services are complex and with bad user experience, citizens don't return. Therefore, speed plus usability equals adoption. What this means for MOSIP countries? For countries implementing MOSIPs, you already have solid identity foundation. The next step is how fast can you roll out services within it. If launching one service takes 12 to 18 months, adoption will stall. If launching one service takes 6 weeks, momentum builds. Momentum builds trust, trust builds usage, usage builds legitimacy, and legitimacy builds political sustainability. A couple of words about MOSIP and Liquio practical integrations. We integrated Liquio with eSignet. Here is what it means in practice. No custom identity stack, no reinvention, secure standards-based authentication. Government keep control, but service teams can build new services really quickly. So why low-code matters for government? Traditional government IT projects are expensive, they are slow, they are vendor dependent, and they are difficult to scale. Low-code changes this. It allows faster launch, lower costs, reduced implementation risk, iterative development, easier localization, and internal capacity building. And very importantly, knowledge transfer. We work with partner companies across Ukraine, Europe, Africa, Latin America, and we focus not only on delivering projects, but on building local capacity, because digital sovereignty matters. The real strategic advantage. Let me summarize the strategic logic. Digital ID infrastructure, plus low-code service platform, plus local ecosystem capacity. This is equals sustainable digital transformation. Not pilot projects, not donor-dependent solution, but long-term national capability. So having this 6 weeks average delivery cycle is super fast, and you can roll out a lot of services in parallel with the efforts of small teams. So digital identity is infrastructure, right? And services are real impact. Local platforms accelerates impact. The future of GovTech is not about monolithical systems. It's about modular architecture, open standards, open source, fast implementation, ecosystem collaboration. And this is why we believe MOSIP and low-code platforms like Liquio can dramatically accelerate digital public services modernization. And more importantly, make digital identity meaningful for all citizens. Thank you very much. I look forward to discussions and collaborations.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tidjane SARR. I'm the CEO of CEIN, which is a consortium based in Senegal. I'm very happy today to present you a concept that we've been working on concerning education area, which we call succeeding without identity, the hidden barrier to education. This is a very important point, which is where the government are facing it in Senegal, in the education sector. First point is the shocking statistic, we can say, where we have more than 400,000 children in preschool and primary education do not have a birth certificate. They are physically present in classroom, but legally invisible in the States. This is a real big problem. This source comes from local statistics, and so giving a gap. So what we have to take in consideration, Senegal is organized with some department, but most of the people birth registration are done in urban area. And the region of Dakar, which is the main center capital, 90% of the persons are registered there in the urban area, and you don't have the same in a rural area, which is giving a huge gap as a digital dividing, regional divided. So what we have to consider is what we call mobile court hearing. That's the main mechanism organized by the Ministry of Justice and the local operators to get audience, what we call in French audience foraine, where people comes and declare they birth and stuff like that. So of course you can quickly understand that it's giving a sort of gap on what they declare and what can happen. And the process is long because it's, of course, inefficient. And to scale it, it's a real problem. So this is a situation going for over 20 years now, and where there's a sort of intervention to remain, to yet progress to remain limited. The population growth has constantly outpaced registration system, and around 25% of the population still lack legacy identity document, which is quite important. Right? A systemic dead end, which we call that there are 50,000 students reach to the end of the primary school every year, but are blocked at the transition point. What we call block at this transition point, in Senegal, a birth certificate is required when you enter into Form 6. If you want to move from to go to Form 6, you can the government asks for you, the person, to provide a birth certificate. Otherwise, the children cannot go in that class. So it's due to missing legal identity, not admitted to go further. So under this pressure, 1.72% of ID card rejection are linked to fraudulent birth certificate. Because what happened, people go and provide ID, which is fraud, and just to be able to move, to get access to school. So what we call from invisible to includable, identity should be a bridge to a children's future, not a wall that stops it. So from invisible to included, we have early birth registration through maternal. The government of Senegal plans to equip all maternity wards, rural municipalities, and community to outreach centers with lightweight enrollment kits to register newborns by linking the demographic data with their mother's biometrics. The other step is automated civil registration for legal compliance to accompany with legal birth declaration deadlines, information collected in maternity, wards is automatically transmitted to the civil registry for official registration in the birth records. School-based biometric enrollment at age 5. Special enrollment campaigns are organized in schools and become a catch-up point for identity registration. No child enters grade 1 without a digital ID. MOSIP pilot advancing priority national use case. So the MOSIP pilot currently being prepared in Senegal with the support of MOSIP, and the Gate Foundation will develop and operationalize the priority use case. So this is basically what we are. We want to shift from legally invisible to includable by design. Thank you very much